So this week is Cinco de Mayo, and that inspired me to create a spicy ice cream. So I thought, what better way to do that than with jalapenos and lime juice. It's a classic pairing, and I think that will work really well with ice cream. Now, I'm not experienced with making spicy ice cream, so this is gonna be an experience for me too. But I think the key here is just making sure I add the right amount of jalapeno so it doesn't overpower it. I get a nice level of spice, but I don't want it to be overpowering. So I think that's gonna be something I'm gonna have to keep an eye on, and that's what could make or break this ice cream. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take the lime juice and move that to the side. Then I'm gonna take the jalapenos and dice them up into smaller pieces. All right, these are smelling super strong, but that's good. And I'm gonna kind of eyeball this. So I'm gonna try 8 jalapenos. I feel like this is a decent amount. And then maybe as I'm mixing stuff in, if I feel like it needs more, I'll go for that. Now I know you probably don't want all of the seeds in there. That's why I chose some of these that have seeds, some that don't. I feel like it's a good mix because I want some spice, but I'm also worried that the milk is going to tamper down the spice. Okay, these are all diced up. Let's go ahead and add these to the bowl and then add the next set of our ingredients. Okay, we're gonna add our jalapenos here. Okay, then next I'm gonna add a tablespoon of lime juice. And then I'm going to add our dries, which is sugar and a little bit of guar gum to help thicken this. And then I'm going to start kind of mashing these together and mixing them up so the flavors kind of get introduced. And in case you're wondering what the recipe is, I will have that in the description below. And I also have notes on there on what I think worked, what didn't, and potential improvements going forward if you want to try making this at home. So another reason why I put these in here before adding the milk is I wanted to kind of use this as a smell test to kind of see, is the lime or the jalapeno going to be stronger? And right off the bat, I'm getting a lot of lime from there. So I think I might add 2 more jalapeno slices just to balance it out. Okay, now we're going to add a cup of milk. Now I'm glad I really chopped these up because the jalapenos are really holding their shape more than I thought they would. So I'm hoping that, especially overnight, this sitting in the milk will kind of help soften them up. So by the time it gets put in the Ninja Creami, it'll blend up really well. All right, gonna switch up to the spatula. Yeah, right now I am getting a really good lime smell from this, which I expected. I'm getting a little bit of that jalapeno spice smell to it, but not as much as I thought. I'm theorizing that some of that spice is going to come through once this is blended up from the actual peppers. But just to make sure I get some of the spice, I'm going to add a little bit of the juice, and just a little bit. And that should add just a little bit more kind of immediate flavor. So that way we're not just relying on the peppers to bring some of that spice. I think this is ready to go. Let's go ahead and pour it and put it in the freezer. Okay, let's add that in there. See, the jalapenos are still kind of floating around. So yeah, that looks really weird right now. You can kind of see there, we're just kind of, it looks like normal milk and then floating dark green chunks. But my hope is that once this blends, it'll kind of release the rest of the jalapeno flavor throughout everything. Yeah, I'm optimistic about this one. It's weird, but I think it could work. I think the real question is going to be, how is the spice level going to compare to how much milk there is, and if that's going to dampen it down at all. So yeah, let's put it in the freezer and see how it turns out tomorrow. Okay, it's the next day. Let's see how this turned out. Okay, so it looks like not a lot of this changed. It looks pretty much the same. Didn't really get a lot of green, which is expected. My theory is that kind of like with the glazed carrots, once it's blended up, the green from the peppers is going to turn this into more of a green color. You can see what that looks like right there. I can smell a lot more of the jalapeno than I did initially, so that's good. It feels like it's like a I can smell like 60% lime and like 40% jalapeno. And so the hope is that by blending this up, the jalapenos will kind of release the rest of their flavor throughout and will be the more dominant flavor in there. Okay, that did not get as green as I thought it would be. It's almost like key lime pie kind of color, just very subtle, but that's what that looks like. And yeah, I'm getting a much stronger jalapeno smell from this, but I can still smell the lime. I'm actually really excited to try this. I think this could be really good. I think the biggest question for me is, will it retain the spice, or is it just gonna have just like a little bit of the jalapeno flavor and the lime, but no spice at all? So I think that's gonna be something I'm really looking for in this. You know, from the top, from scooping this, feels right. You can see some of the jalapeno chunks in there. Then of course I need to add a garnish, show where we came from, our humble beginnings. Okay, so that's what that looks like. Still looks mostly vanilla-like, with just kind of like a tinge of green. I don't know if you can see here, but you can see kind of the speckles of what used to be the jalapenos. So yeah, I'm optimistic about this, but there's no use in beating around the bush. Let's try it. Bon appetit. What the? Wow. Oh, that answers that question. Woo! Oh, that'll wake you up. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. In case you were wondering if that holds the spice, that holds the spice. Yeah, that was just a lot for one bite. I probably took too big of a bite. I'm gonna go back for a smaller bite before I reveal my thoughts. Okay, yeah, that smaller bite was much better. I think I just took too large of a bite and just got punched in the face. But initial thoughts, wow, that is really good. I think that lime and jalapeno, they work really well together. Really the only bad thing right now is might have added too many jalapenos, or I shouldn't have added the seeds and kind of the centers of them. Actually, yeah, I'm gonna go with that. I think it's I should have removed the seeds and everything. I think I was just scared that the spice wouldn't stay in there. But rest assured, it definitely does stay in there. But it's not an overpowering one unless you take a really large bite. It doesn't sit in your mouth long, like it hits you with the lime right away. Then you get the jalapeno kick pretty early. And then it like kind of soothes away, and then you just are left with kind of the tingle of spice, and then it just kind of like goes away really quickly. So like I don't taste anything anymore after having those two bites. Wow, I am really happy with how this turned out. This is one I would recommend you make on your own. I think just making slight tweaks depending on what your spice level is, but this is definitely something, and honestly, I will try making another version of this at some point. So because of all of this, I think I'm going to give this a 4.5 scoops out of 5. Honestly, this could have been a 5 out of 5. I think I just had added too many jalapenos with the seeds and everything in there. For probably an average person, I would say half. So anywhere from like 5 to like 2 jalapenos, you should actually include the centers and the seeds and everything to actually bring in the flavor. I think that's good. I think just right now where it's at, it's a little overpowering, so I can't give it a 5. As far as the like outside of the spices, the jalapeno flavor, I think it's really nice. I think for me personally, I would prefer a more subtle jalapeno flavor mixed in with the lime, and I feel like that works really well here. So yeah, highly recommend you try this. Dang, so good. I am really happy with that. Thank you everyone for taking time out of your day to watch me make weird ice cream flavors. I really enjoy it and I enjoy sharing it with you guys. And if you enjoy that too, feel free to like this video and subscribe so you can see when I upload next, which is every Sunday. And if you have any ideas for future flavors of ice cream you want me to try, feel free to leave those in the comments below. And if you want the recipe that I use in this episode, that'll be in the description below. Again, thank you for watching and have a great day.